Yeah, I wanted to start with Britney. I didn't start with Spice Girls because that's the reason why I live in London, Spice World, the movie, which I saw at the age of 10. But I thought that this would be more convenient. I'm going to be talking about basic techniques to improve your SEO and to defeat your competition. In my case, my competition was IBM. So, yeah, why not? Britney on second slide, I thought. Okay, so what did we do to outrank IBM, which, as I said before, is the biggest competitor on the blockchain space? So we worked on topical authority, content length, and featured snippet optimization. Yeah, this is not crazy technical, no huge budget, nothing, no search metrics for you. X search metrics, so you don't have to pay 50K on a software for SEO, but I love them. And I would love them more if they could continue to call me for the conferences. So, but I'm a complicated person because I'm a woman and I speak of things that you shouldn't speak of. Now, let's continue as if everything was normal. So, my former employer, consensus, yeah, blockchain solutions. Blockchain, that thing that would change the world, do you remember? Well, it didn't change my life. And IBM is the biggest competitor on the enterprise blockchain space. So one thing that you should know is that most of our content was on a Medium blog. Why? Because there was another guy who was in SEO, who got paid 50% more than me, that thought this was a great idea. So, let's see. When I arrived to consensus, the SEO was a disaster because of this person. And my first question was, in a new organization, a new industry, what should we be talking about? And well, as any SEO person would do, not any SEO person because he didn't. I crawled several of our competitors' websites. The main one is IBM, but also Corda and R3 to see what they were talking about. And then we did a keyword research to say, OK, what are the important things in blockchain? Yep. So what we found out is that people wanted to know what does blockchain do for their industry? Because you know what? Nobody has a fucking clue about what blockchain is or what can you use it for. So what can we use blockchain for? What are the benefits that it will bring in my industry? Why you should implement this? Simple, but, well, you need a very smart cookie to discover this. And now, how? OK, we know what to do now, how, and these are the things that I will address today. First, topical authority. Well, we know that you have to have the best possible page, but also you have to have a range of pages to talk about a topic so that Google thinks that you are an authoritative source. I like to use that word authoritative because I don't know how to pronounce it properly and people feel confused. So pretend that it's all going fine. This also in the later, as from 3 or 4 years ago, and now with the EAT update, the EIT, I never know how to pronounce this, EAT or that, whatever, guys. I'm emotionally drained today. I am doing my best. So, you should be an authority in your field of knowledge, and you will do that with having a lot of pages. That's what I'm trying to say. And the EAT update and the quality raters guidelines from Google tell you that as well. Cool. So let's see what this genius did before me. Oh, where are use cases here? Nowhere. Cool. But well, why don't we take Victoria's ideas on board and start doing something great? So what we see here, and actually we have published 40 pages. Not all of them are in this slide, but they are in other areas. But we see that we have a lot of pages related to industries, right? And the main ones are banking and finance, government, supply chain, and energy. So yeah, a great idea. I agree. Yeah, more detailed breakdown of this. If you see, we have like the industry page and a case study page. Like this describes the industry in general, and then we have actual cases of people who implement, of entities that implemented this. Yep. Good. So, in content length, well, this is a bit obvious, but most of the briefs I work with focus on content length. In the case of blockchain, it's a very complicated topic. We need a lot of details, right? So it's not that hard to write more than 1,000 words. Now, we know that Google sees more content as better content. So in our case, beyond the length, we make sure that this was done by people who know what they were talking about and by experts in the subject, and that helped us a lot. So in order to do this, to do the copy decks, I use the Sem Writing Assistant, which is by default is one of the parts. I think it's one of the least explored parts of SEMrush, and it has a Chrome plugin. So when you go into Google Docs, you can see this on your text. You can see all of the recommendations on the live test. So if you work with writers, it's really good because they can see if their text is being optimized for SEO or not. And here we have content length, which for our industry is for this industry is generally more than 1,200 words. So that's what my content team got in order to work on these topics. This is another part of the content brief, and where I explain people how to make their work more suitable to rank for featured snippets, right? So in the case of banking and finance, we had a first version that wasn't optimized for featured snippets, and then when we optimized it, well, we changed the heading from blockchain in banking and finance to how will blockchain benefit banking and finance. At the same time, we managed to to answer this question in a paragraph and in a list, so Google would pick up that as a feature snippet more easily. Also, in the document, there are questions about people also asked to focus. So most of the document had to contain some of those questions. Is this too boring? Okay. Just wanted to de-dramatize the situation. I'm very aware of what I have said and what has happened, but don't worry about me. Now, let's do the medium part. Medium, this part is great because it includes so much embarrassment. But wait, the embarrassment hasn't happened. If you thought that what I have done so far is embarrassing, you have no idea. So Medium, Medium is a platform that is like the Facebook of content. Medium says, hey, I'm very friendly. Post all your content here, and it will be great. It will look great, and you will have followers that will like you and will start sharing you. Now, Medium takes all that content and keeps it for itself. Yeah. So at the point where when I first did this presentation, Medium didn't allow you to redirect any of that content or use canonicals. That is to say that when we published our first version of blockchain use cases and applications, and it was like 1,500 words, and it was on Medium, well, we couldn't do anything about it. But to then compete against ourselves on our own domains, because this was on our subdomain, which was media.consensus.net, and then we had to compete with our domain. How fun, right? All legacy errors from somebody that was earning much more money than me. So, as you can see, this is the original Medium post, and this is the new page on consensus.net. And generally, we don't need to have duplicate content, but to be in this situation force you to the edge of mental sanity, so you have to compete and defeat yourself. Yeah? When I said from November 2019, the last time I presented this talk, and I pretended to be an expert on Twitter, which I never do. I just saw Aleida, which I know in person, I think she's great, talking about Medium, and I just say, yes, I'm going to talk about this, because you know what, I have just given a presentation about this. And I say the same thing, mostly the same jokes, blah, 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 blah. I'm such an expert, Aleida, look at me, look at me. And at the same time, somebody said, you can actually canonicalize articles, Victoria. What the fuck are you talking about? So I looked like an idiot, yeah? But that's how I learned that you can now canonicalize things. But most of the work that I did was under the assumption that you couldn't do that, so we had to get very creative. Now, the competition of yourself against yourself. Mind-blowing. So if you see the Medium page, it mostly ranks higher for every single factor that I have outlined here. Now, in order to be able to overtake them, I thought that we could cut the content. Well, I thought it was the only thing we could do to make the content shorter. So when we published this new page, the content was longer, and this new page was set up in the structure that you saw previously. So we had a lot of internal links coming from other pages that were related, right? That were all part of a higher entity that talked about blockchain. So also time on site, we see that it's way higher because of the content length. One of the things, and I don't have any backup for this, but I feel that people want to hear very bold statements on conferences. And people say, I analyzed 1,000 pages, 1,000 results. Well, I didn't. I have 28. So most of them, when they go to the featured snippets, they were the longest. And in this, you have to trust me because I didn't have time to make the slide. Featured snippets, which is like the star of the show. Well, most of you know what is this, but I just thought I would have an extra slide. And well, and also because people, when they talk of featured snippet or answer boxes, there are a lot of them. So in order to, or a lot of typologies, in order to narrow this thing down, these are the ones that I'm talking about. Yes? So we know that most of them are paragraph and then list. Tables, we didn't have a lot of room to use them because our content wasn't suitable for that. Now, this slide has a lot of content, and I know it's not ideal, but that's the way I managed to do it. So what we did, and it's also an example that I showed on the copy deck, most of the questions that each heading had were taken from people also asked. Also, to target the paragraph snippet, after having this header, you reply to that question within a paragraph. And then you develop the content within a list or a table, which in this case is not relevant. Also, we make sure we answer many questions on the same page. And the image, we never did it because who does image optimization anyway on SEO, right? So what you will see is that we had a lot of featured snippets with an image from another page. So do things right and take care of images. So some examples. Instead of blockchain for insurance, well, we have the heading, and we also have a quick, a short paragraph. This paragraph has to be between 58 and 74 words, I think. And we have a list. And we are answering several questions here using the list. All very interesting questions. I'm sure you are dying to know how will blockchain impact insurance. Such interesting topics meant for each other. Now, results. What can a person that gets paid 50% less than her male colleague achieve? Everything she can achieve. So as you know, as you can clearly see here, all of the pages that featured snippet were ranking for most of the pages that we created. And also, this one here, look who is there, IBM, and how much money pays IBM to get there, an average of $10 US per click. So I think I'm pretty good at my job. Now, we also defeated ourselves, not IBM, but Medium. So And we achieved, I think that today are 44 feature snippets. And well, we start ranking on everything. How cool is that? Yeah, how cool is this? Now, also, the moment that feature snippets started appearing, obviously the visibility of these pages, which were already on ranking on position 1, increased tremendously. There is a decrease here because we changed the directory. We then rearrange content, so it should look like an infinite wave of growth towards the infinity. Yes, so here, this one is for energy, and the other one is for government. We see that from the moment we started ranking from feature snippets, the CTR increased dramatically, and the clicks as well. The impressions and the clicks and everything. Here we can see, yeah, non-feature snippets to feature snippets, there is a very huge difference. And this is what we achieved in 1 year. So we went from 0 to 33% organic visibility in the enterprise blockchain vertical, and we left those losers from IBM there in July. Who remembers July? We thought we would still be in the European Union in July last year. So this is a new part of the presentation. I did this especially for you guys today. These are non-scientific observations because, as I said before, there's people that come and say that have gone through a data set of 1,000 results, and I have just what I have show you. But these are my conclusions from this case study. So again, long content, there is a correlation between long content and feature snippets with the longest content and feature snippets. Also, if I had to do something else for another industry as head of SEO as from the next month, I would focus on benefits and advantages, which is something that Google Raters Guide mentions many times. It's like, why is this useful for the user? What will they get from this? So this can be applied to anything that you do. Focus on what are they getting from it, especially if these are the pages that talk about finance, health. Which are your money, your life pages? Is finance, health? Nobody knows. OK, I will not run a quiz on this then. Important pages that affect your life. Yep. Also, once the feature snippet is triggered, many times many others appear for the same page. And generally, one page is ranking for several snippets at the same time. So, for example, here you can see these are the following advantages. These are the benefits. And also, it's very easy to reply advantages or benefits within a list, which is what Google wants. Sorry, this is an example of the third point too, that you see that this is for energy. Immediately, we started ranking for more than 10 feature snippets after the first one was triggered. And in the case, as I said before in the previous page, for energy, we're ranking in 10 feature snippets, I think. And in most industries, again, you see different ones. And here are the images that we're not ranking for. And actually, I don't even find this carousel of images helpful, but that's the way things, the way Google is doing things now. So optimize your images properly if you want to show up there too. And these are my takeaways. Actually, they're not even takeaways. They're a repetition of the same thing I have talked about. Well, anyway, you understood everything, right? Yeah, that's me.